Hey all, this is Anne with Doubting Believer, and our 5-minute message today is about forgiveness. Now, I think we're all familiar with the story, or most of us are, in Matthew 18, where Peter asked Jesus, "How many times do I have to forgive someone who has wronged me?" And Peter asked 7 times. He's hoping he gets a number, and Jesus says, no, 70 times 7 times. Now, good news for those of you like me who are not good at math. This is not a multiplication problem. This is Jesus saying you don't get to keep count. You don't get to keep score when it comes to forgiveness. It's something you have to do again and again and again. And as Christians, it is something we are called to do again and again and again. And I think that there are 3 stages in forgiveness. There's no empirical study on this. I have no evidence to back it up. It's just me. This is just what I have grown to observe in my life and in my ministry, and so I'll share it with you. I think the first stage of forgiveness is where you have been wronged and you know you should forgive that person who has wronged you, but you have no intention of doing so whatsoever. You're not going to forgive them. You're going to hold on to the anger and the bitterness, and you are going to let that anger fuel the hate growing inside of you, and you are not going to let them off the hook. Now, stage 1 is an okay place to be, but it is not an okay place to stay. There are times when we are going to be angry and we are not going to feel forgiving. If you are in stage 1 right now, you may have already turned off this video because you don't want to hear about it. But stage 1, it is an okay place to be. We are all there sometimes. You don't want to stay there. Stage 2 is when someone has wronged you. You know you should forgive them. You want to forgive them, but you just can't let it go. You can't seem to get over it. And the key to stage 2, very, very often, is time. So if you are in stage 2 with a person or a situation, be gentle with yourself and give yourself some time to work through it. You're in a better place. You know you should forgive them. You want to forget them. And what you may just need is some time to get there. So anytime you're in stage 2, be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, and keep working towards getting to stage 3, which is where we all want to be. That is when you've been wronged and you know you should forgive someone and you want to forgive someone and you actually do. You move on with your life. You let that hurt no longer rule over you and affect you. You have moved on. You have let that go from your life. As always, forgiving someone does not mean letting them off the hook. It does not mean freeing them from responsibility from their actions. It means no longer letting what they have done to you have power over your life. So, the good news is we all want to get to stage 3. The bad news is we never all get to stay in stage 3 all the time because they're constantly in our lives. There are new hurts and new wrongs and new slights, and we have to go through those stages again. And I think the key is knowing that it's okay to be in stage 1, it's okay to be in stage 2, but we always want to get to stage 3 so that our lives are not ruled by what other people have done, and we have control over our own lives. And of course, throughout this whole process, as we are struggling to forgive someone who has hurt us, who has wronged us, we remember that Jesus has done that for us. There have been times when Jesus had no business forgiving us, times when Jesus should not have forgiven us, probably times when Jesus didn't want to forgive us. But we are offered that forgiveness. So because we have been offered it, I really, really think when we tap into that, it helps us to extend that to others. So there's this story that I always think helps me. It's about porcupines. So porcupines, when it gets cold, they have to huddle together for warmth. And of course, porcupines being porcupines, the closer they get to each other, the more they poke each other because they're porcupines. And so the porcupines have to decide if they're going to stay together and be warm and deal with the pokes, or if they're going to get tired of being poked and wander out into the cold by themselves. And I think the same is true with people. If we're going to be in relationship, and we were born to be in relationship, and if we're going to be in relationship with others, there are going to be times when we get poked, when we get hurt, when we are injured. And we have to decide if it is worth staying in that relationship and forgiving the pokes and the hurts, or if we want to wander out into the cold and try to make a go of it on our own. And the answer to that is no, we don't. We want to stay in relationship. That is who God created us to be. It's people who live in relationship. God's self dwells in relationship, Creator, Christ, and Holy Spirit. And so forgiveness really is the key to it all. At the heart of the matter, not to quote Don Henley, but is this thing called forgiveness. And so let us pay attention to where we are in our stages of forgiveness with one another. Let us always strive to get to stage 3, knowing that relationship, even with its faults and its hurts and its warts and its problems, is always going to be better than trying to go it alone. Hope everybody has a great week. Thanks.